ladies. I'm Tiffany Lesnik, a domestic violence attorney, survivor, and founder of Live Free Legal. If you're watching today, maybe you're wondering, is what's happening to me really abuse? Or would a judge even believe this counts as physical abuse? I've had so many women come into my office. He's only put his hands on me one time, so he's really not abusive. Or he's never put his hands on me, so he's not physically abusive. Today, we're going to unpack what physical abuse really is from a legal perspective, including forms you may never have thought of as abuse. Because recognizing abuse isn't just about naming what's happened, it's about reclaiming your power, your safety, and your voice in court. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to this channel, give us a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell. Every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at YouTube at Live Free Legal, we bring truth, strategy, and spiritual empowerment to women walking through high conflict divorce, custody, and post separation abuse. In most states, physical abuse isn't just hitting. Legally, it includes any act intended to cause bodily injury or fear of imminent harm. That could mean grabbing your arm hard enough to leave a bruise, blocking a doorway, leave, pushing or shoving during an argument, throwing objects, even if they don't hit you, driving recklessly while screaming at you to teach you a lesson, using physical intimidation, like standing over you, punching walls, or even breaking things. Even threatening physical harm without touching you can meet the legal standard of domestic violence if it causes reasonable fear. Abuse isn't about anger, it's about control. And physical acts are just one of the ways an abuser enforces that control. I've broken physical abuse into 10 categories that you may not have thought of. Of course, physical abuse always involves the type of abuse that we normally think of when someone physically lays their hands on you in some way in a manner that's hurtful, unwelcome, and inflicts pain and harm, and many times injury. But today, I want to focus on 10 other ways that physical abuse manifests itself. From a legal perspective, most states recognize these forms of abuse as part of their domestic violence statutes. And I want you to be aware of them too, so that if you need to seek an order of protection, you will know that if you are experiencing some of what I'm talking about today, you will have grounds to file for protection. And you should file for protection because you are in an abusive relationship and you could be in danger. Know that every state in the United States has a way for you to file for a protective order through your court system. So know that help is available for you. And if you don't know how to get help, I would encourage you to reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE because you are not alone. You can also Google a local domestic violence agency near you, and they can help you get to your local courthouse in order to file for a protective order. Before we begin, this episode contains descriptions of physical abuse and violence that might be difficult to hear. Please take care of your heart and step away if needed. So, category number 1, when fear fills the room, using physical intimidation. So while he might not physically be putting his hands on you, he might be physically intimidating. He never hits you, but the way he moves, stands, or glares at you makes your whole body brace for impact. So it could be examples like standing over you during an argument, maybe inches from your face, clenching his fist, pacing back and forth, blocking your path, slamming doors, punching walls nearby, using his size or his presence to make you feel powerless. What does he look like, right? Is he using his body, his physical body in some way? Are the veins popping out of his neck or his hands? Is his face red? You know those signs. right? We know those signs. You can see it, you can feel it. And he's using those physical signs, those physical manifestations in order to intimidate you. Intimidation is violence of the spirit. He doesn't need to touch you to make your body flinch. He's using that to control you. So, category 2, breaking what you love, destroying property to control you. So, when he can't break you, he breaks the things that matter most to you. And that's not anger, even though it looks like it, that's control of you. So, smashing your phone or your laptop, ripping photos, burning letters, throwing your wedding rings, breaking furniture, punching holes in walls, destroying sentimental items like a gift from your grandmother, things that your children have made for you. It could also mean just breaking any inconsequential thing in the home as well. Maybe he's throwing dishes, maybe he's breaking a chair, maybe he's throwing things out into the yard, just to show you that he can do whatever he wants to do and he's going to use force to do it. And ladies, that is a key word, force, right? If he's acting in a way that's forcible, right? That's scary, that's violent, that is violence. This isn't about him losing his temper. This is a calculated message that I can destroy what matters to you. I can do whatever I want to control you. So, category 3, I call this terror on wheels, driving recklessly or leaving you stranded. So, you're trapped in the car as he speeds, yells, or pulls over to throw you out. And he calls it just another argument. He's speeding, swerving, or threatening to crash while you're in the car. Maybe he pulls over and forces you out on the side of the road. He threatens you. He tells you to get out. You could be in the city. You could be on the side of the highway in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he pulls over and he gets out of the car and walks down the highway, leaving you stranded somewhere unsafe. Maybe he leaves you and your infant or your children in a car by yourself somewhere unsafe while he takes the keys and you have nowhere to go. Basically, he's using the car as a weapon to scare or punish you. Maybe he's driving dangerously, swerving all over the road, laughing. Maybe he's doing things like putting his hand on your leg or doing something that he's not putting his hands on the wheel in order to scare you while he's driving. These moments often get brushed off as anger or drama, but legally, they are dangerous acts of physical abuse and could even be considered using a deadly weapon in order to assault you. A car is a very, very dangerous weapon when used improperly. So, category 4, weaponizing the innocent, threatening or harming pets or children. When he can't hurt you directly, he hurts what you love: your pets, your children, your peace. We don't always think about our pets, right? And this isn't just limited to cats and dogs. It could be ducks or chickens or bunnies, birds, anything that you own that he knows he can hurt. So, kicking, hitting, or threatening a pet, maybe throwing them down the stairs, refusing to feed them, keeping them crated in a kennel and completely neglecting them to the point of emaciation, disciplining a child in front of you to make you comply, right? If you don't do what I say, I'm going to do this to our child. Saying things like, if you leave, you'll never see the children again, or using the children as a messenger to deliver threats. Harming what you love most is a form of psychological and physical abuse and torture. Category 5, forced intimacy. We can call this rape and coercive sex. He tells you it's your duty, your fault, or what God expects. But intimacy without consent is not love, it's assault. It is not what God created. It was supposed to be an intimate, beautiful design. And when it's forced, and it's used without consent, it doesn't feel good. That is not love. So, forcing sexual acts when you say no, threatening punishment or violence if you refuse, pressuring you into sex out of fear, guilt, or obligation, maybe pressuring you into physical intimacy when you don't feel well or you're hurting, pressuring you into intimacy after you've just had surgery or just had a baby, right? Your body's just not feeling well, you're in pain. Maybe he's pressuring you into doing sexual things that you're not comfortable with. He wants you to say certain things, use certain words, engage in sexual acts with other people, or watch him perform sexual acts with other people. Maybe it's engaging in some kind of pornographic act. He wants you to watch pornography with him. Maybe he is drugging you, putting something in a drink. Or maybe he's using alcohol to get you intoxicated in order to have his way with you. He could be using spiritual manipulation, saying, you are supposed to submit to me. I own your body. Your body belongs to me. The Bible says you owe me this. That is a lie. Sex without consent, even in marriage, is rape. God designed intimacy to be sacred, a union, a beautiful union, and not to be weaponized, not to harm, and not to scar people. Category number 6 keeps you trapped and powerless, taking your property and restricting freedom. Again, these involve physical acts, right? So he's taking something from you. You realize your keys are gone, your phone is dead, you can't leave. That's not protection. That's imprisonment. He confiscates your phone. Maybe he even grabs your phone out of your hands. That is a real physical act. He takes your wallet. He takes your car keys. Maybe he hides your car from you. Maybe he locks you out of the house or he even locks you in. He cuts off access to finances, transportation, or even communication, completely isolating you. He takes your ID, your license, or your passport so you can't leave. Again, physically taking something from you in order to isolate you. So that physical act is physical abuse. These are deliberate acts to isolate and control. Freedom is your right, not a privilege that he gives you. Category 7, the silent threat, using force without striking. The fist never lands, but it hovers. And that's enough to keep you living in fear of the moment it does. You're flinching, you're waiting, you know something is coming, right? Raising his fist, lunging towards you, or pretending to hit you, mock choking you as a joke, telling you, you're lucky I didn't hit you this time. Or do it, I dare you, trying to get you to hit him. Throwing objects in your direction, but missing on purpose. Punching, damaging things, taking the door off its hinges, punching holes in the wall. The threat itself is violence. The fear it plants is what keeps you compliant. This is physical abuse. So, category 8, being held hostage in your own home, entrapment, an invasion of your personal protected space. He blocks the door and says, see, I'm not hitting you, while trapping you in a cage made of fear and denial, blocking a doorway, cornering you, or following you from room to room. You can't get away. Towering over you, shouting inches from your face, saying, I didn't hit you. I'm not touching you, while he's doing it right in your face, over and over and over again, trapping you in fear, preventing you from leaving until you say what he wants to hear, putting you down, wearing you down until you give in. This tactic keeps you physically contained and emotionally broken down. Category 9, exhausted into submission, depriving you of food or sleep. Again, a physical act, You're so tired you can't think straight, and that's exactly how he keeps keeping you up all hours of the night to fight with you. Or maybe waking you up in the middle of the night. You're in the middle of a dead sleep and he comes in the room, throws something at you, or starts screaming at you and wakes you up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning over something stupid, usually having to do with something that he's jealous about. Maybe a boyfriend that you had in high school 20 years ago, keeping the children up at night and blaming you, or waking the children up at night and blaming you. Kids, pack your bags. Your mom's divorcing me. Your mom is ruining the family. Look at what she's done. Hiding food or restricting meals as punishment. Maybe he's put you on such a tight budget financially that you can only afford to buy peanut butter and jelly or ramen noodles, and you and the children are hungry. Waking you up repeatedly so you can't rest. Maybe you're sick, you have an illness, you have cancer, you just had surgery, maybe you have an autoimmune issue and you need to nap, you need to rest, and he's constantly waking you up so you can't get that sleep, controlling when or what you eat or drink. Sleep and nourishment are survival needs, and deprivation is a slow form of torture designed to weaken your resistance and cause you to give in to his control. So we're at number 10, category number 10, breaking your dignity, forcing humiliation or abuse. When abuse can't break your body, it tries to break your spirit by stripping away your dignity piece by piece. And this is some of the most heinous abuse. Forcing you to eat from the floor or crawl like an animal. There are stories of men making their wives eat out of a dog bowl, demanding sexual or degrading acts against your will, treating you like an animal, making you strip, kneel, walk around the house naked, or perform to teach you to respect, forcing obedience in front of others to assert your dominance. Maybe he holds your hand tightly, or he grabs onto your arm tightly, or maybe onto the back of your shirt tightly when you're in public, so that you know that he is in control and you better not step out of line. Controlling what you wear, how you style your hair or your makeup, controlling your physical body. I had a case, a domestic violence case that I called Contract Jack, literally called Contract Jack. And in this case, Contract Jack made his wife sign a contract. And in that contract, it outlined all of the things that she was allowed and not allowed to do from the beginning of the morning until the time she went to bed. It had a schedule. It had what she could wear, what she could eat, how she could communicate with him, how many times a week she had to have sex with him. Everything was in there. Now, I'm glad to say we were able to get her a domestic violence protective order, and the judge was very, very concerned about her physical and emotional well-being. She understood how devastating having to sign a contract like that was, and that was extremely abusive. But if your spouse is making you sign a contract, that is abuse. This is not discipline or passion, it is dehumanization. Abuse always escalates when dignity is stripped away. If you recognized yourself in any of these examples, please hear me. You are not crazy, and it is not your fault. God has a purpose for your life that is greater than what your abuser has planned for you. You are worthy, you are valuable, and you are beautifully made. There is freedom and healing on the other side of this, and you don't have to walk it alone. Once you know it's abuse, the next question is what now? Here are some steps to get you started. Start documenting. Document dates, injuries, and witnesses. Reach out to a domestic violence advocate at a local domestic violence agency or an attorney that offers a free consultation. Contact a domestic violence organization. We'll have the number on the screen and also in the descriptions below. Create a safety exit plan. You can contact us at livefreelegal@gmail.com. We are happy to send you a free safety exit plan. Remember, you do not need to wait until abuse happens again to ask for protection. You deserve protection. You deserve dignity. You deserve freedom. You deserve peace. Join me, an attorney and a survivor. I offer a Live Free legal coaching group. And I also offer an Empower Her membership where faith meets strategy and helps women rebuild their lives one victory at a time. I teach you what I have learned as a survivor and as a DV attorney about the truth about domestic violence and the law and help you break free from fear into freedom. Because you are not the pain you've endured. You are the woman God chose to rise from it. Join us next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next webcast on what is emotional abuse. And we're going to go through the top 10 or 10 types of emotional and verbal abuse that you may not have thought of. Remember to subscribe, like us, give us a thumbs up, click on the bell to receive notifications for future videos. And if you're ready to live free, visit livefreelegal.com for more coaching and Empower Her details.